All right. As many are probably aware looking at this deck list, this is very different from a lot of the other iterations of Aristocrats that we've played on stream before. Notably, there are no one-drops like Gutter Bones or Hunted Witness in this deck. Also worth noting is we're trying to leverage this card, Vindictive Vampire here, which is a very expensive Blood Artist-esque effect. I am not convinced that the card choices that are in this deck are better than the card choices in the little bit more trim, lower to the ground build with 8 1-drops that we've played on stream before. But a lot of what we do here, if you're new and not familiar, is we play a lot of decks that viewers have sent in. So this is card for card, a viewer submitted deck list. So we're going to go ahead and play some matches here with their deck list to start and get a feel for it and give some thoughts on how this compares to the build that we played on stream before. I agree with that assessment a bit, B-Shellers. I think this deck is definitely kind of, it looks on the surface like it's falling into the trap of playing to its theme too much and being a slave to the idea that, like, everything it has to do has to be a synergy card, as opposed to just playing more genuinely good cards. You can reroll 1 daily per day. So I always reroll the 500 gold ones because I play enough different decks that I'll complete whatever quest we have, trying to get to 750. Someday we'll have a London Mulligan rule and I won't have to keep hands like this and then miss my second land drop and die. Oh, lucky, lucky, lucky. You should be able to DM me on Twitch. I have a DM waiting from you, Dr. Berluski. I usually don't check my DMs midstream, though. So, Twitch DM works the way you just did there. You can also pop into the Discord if you're a subscriber like it looks like you are. So, Twitch DM, Twitter DM, Discord DMs are the best ways to reach me, generally speaking. Correct, Rocardio. That is in fact my job, as someone else pointed out. I play other people's decks on stream for edutainment and dollar bills. That's true. If I play pre-combat and then they counter, I get to attack with Priest of the Forgotten Gods. That's a good thing to point out. I think I priest here trying to find a land. The death touch doesn't really matter, right? You know, it's funny I mentioned people are gonna ask about modern being rough. No, modern, we just played a reasonable modern deck, which meant we killed people incredibly fast. We went 3-2 and played a 45-minute league. All of these monsters scrolling on this banner down straight below me in the bottom right-hand corner are part of my Tempo Storm sponsors. Hey, look, we finally found a land. We're probably dead here. Doesn't Red Bull have their own esports team? Probably. Red Bull does a lot of esports stuff. They sponsor Tempo Storm. They sponsored Ninja and a bunch of other personalities and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. What does this deck have in the sideboard for this matchup? Do we have a sideboard? We effectively don't have sideboard cards for this matchup either. Okay, well, I'm not going to edit the main deck, but I think after we get dumpstered here, we're probably going to go ahead and, probably going to go ahead and change the sideboard. Yeah, no Mortifies in the 75 is interesting as well. Conclave Tribunal fills a similar role. I probably should just be attacking with this priest, actually. I miss, like, probably, like, 2 to 3 points of damage. I'd have just been attacking with it the whole time. Yes, we're currently playing unranked. So, with the top 1,000 mattering for the end of the month, a lot of these more untested decks, I plan to play them in the unranked queue. And if we play a match or two with them in the unranked queue and they seem reasonable, we'll play some ranked matches with them. And, like, as you can see here, as we're playing against Blue-Green Nexus, in my experience, you play against a pretty much a similar proportion of real decks in the unranked queue as you do in the ranked queue. Remember, we spent a bunch of time playing best of 3 in the unranked queue before the ranked queue even exists as far as best of 3 was concerned. Upgrade the spirit token, make them discard a card. They discarded another root snare. That's probably not good for us. So that Nexus doesn't really do anything because, like, my opponent doesn't have Wilderness Reclamation, letting them use their extra mana. They don't have a Search for Azcanta in play, so, like, they're not really accomplishing anything other than playing lands by casting these Nexus of Fates. So yeah, it's like a free play a land, draw a card, right? Basically. Alright, so now, if they don't gain more life with a Hydra, I have them dead with Vindictive Vampire plus Priest of the Forgotten Gods activation next turn, which is nice. That being said, there is a chance we just don't get a next turn. So they need to have a counterspell plus a fog here. Can a mod who has access to a keyboard make a command explaining what an Aristocrats deck is? Please and thank you. Okie doke. Sometimes their deck does nothing and then they die. Welcome to Nexus. Sure. Bring in Tribunal and Tithe Taker clicks a bit. Yeah, that was more of a not on mobile question. Like I guess if you're on mobile and you really want to type out a long command, be my more power to you. I'm inclined to agree that Teysa is clunky in general. But I want to give her a chance. Thank you for typing that out, right, Cat? I think I just want to do this and take their search while they're tapped out. Hey, Jay Boons, thanks for the 3 months in a row. Or the 2 months in a row and the 3 months total. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Zintoth, stop it. We're making helpful comments. Making things that are helpful, not memes. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I got it now. I missed it. I missed it. Might be good at some point. Hey, Lurper, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Hope you're having a good Wednesday wherever you're at. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Or good afternoon. Wherever you're at. So, Midnight Reaper. And to activate, priest, target you, sacrifice these, triggers. Priest plus Midnight Reaper is so busted. Yeah, it's and we've talked about this when we played this card different shells in the past. It feels like it's pretty rare for a card that only costs 2 mana to take a game over as hard as this card takes over games. This card goes to work very quickly. I wonder if my opponent had a disconnect here. Had something come up. The engine is here. Next turn we get to play Ministrant and Dusk Legion Zealot and like do a bunch of stuff. Maybe they just had to answer the door, or their kid needed something. Never assume the worst. There's lots of reasons you have to step away from your computer for a moment. Maybe they're playing at work and had to answer a question for someone. Darnia, thanks for the 14 months in a row. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, that's a big part of what makes this deck good, right? Is the fact that it gets to like play around fog effects in a nice way. Yeah, sub-gifties are fine for adding decks to the queue. Garden Variety Troll. Work, kids, bathroom, wife. Yeah, exactly. Lots of reasons other than I'm salty to need to take a second. Opponent's like mousing over. You can see my opponent lighting up different things on their side of the board, so they're there, or something's there. Maybe their cat has taken over and is pushing the mouse around. Hey, Fuzzy Set. Thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a good one. Like they were having some issues there. I mean, to be fair, Sags, Cry of the Canarium kinda just dumpsters most iterations of this archetype that I've tried, so like saying Teysa makes you play into Cry, I don't think is strictly true. Think you kind of just play into Cry. Maybe this is a little bit loose. Got some early plays. Yeah, Teysa's a card that survives Cry, so there's that to think about. Meh. 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 Are we gonna burn? Nope. Alright, this thing's got Death Touch, thankfully, so it can knock that down. Teysa would be a sweet draw here, to be fair. Like, double up the Vindictive Vampire triggers. If there's a burning ring of fire in our future, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Rhythm of the Wild. Well, that's terrifying. Yikes. Yikes. Woof. Alrighty then. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Alright, well, we tried. There was an attempt. There was an attempt. Well. Ha. Woof. Do I sideboard anything here? I feel like none of these cards in my sideboard are particularly relevant. Maybe the Conclave Tribunal is good, but I'm not sure that it's better than any of the things I'm already playing. Like Eldest is pretty slow and clunky. Like I have Cast Down and Plaguecrafter as small amounts of removal. Maybe the Tribunal's better than Cast Down, even though it's a little bit clunkier just because it does tag their enchantment. Yeah, I could see that. Let's do that swap. Yeah, goats usually don't have that much rhythm, chat. Usually the goats are a little bit clunkier than that. Rhythmic goat beats. Beats by Dr. Goat. Well, I guess I'll draw my cards. Yeah, the climb deck against Gates, the climb deck is definitely the aggro deck. You should be boarding out your Hydroid Crisis and trying to kill them. Board in your counter spells. You bring in the Frilled Mystics against Control and against Nexus. And to answer your question, they are clunky. They're just the only counterspell you can find with Dome Ray. So it's like the best thing you can be playing in that slot, even if it's not great. That is completely reasonable and beatable. We could definitely beat a gain 30. Life gain is cheating. Alright, we got our first Vindictive Vampire triggers. That's exciting. Thunk. We're kind of in an okay spot here, right? If they sweep the board, they take a bunch of damage. I think we're actually gonna win this, huh? So like they can't clear the board at this point. They just have too many things in play. Alright, go to 1, go. Like they have to deal with the Vindictive Vampires and then sweep the board. That's so incredibly rude. Are they still dead? I think they're still dead, right? We beat the gain 30. Did they stumble hard? They had growth spiral into goat into like gain life. They didn't have gates to, and they gates to blaze dust on 3 or 4 that game too, right? They killed double Midnight Reaper. So how did they stumble? They ramped, they swept, they kind of did everything their deck wanted to do, and then we beat them anyways. So saying that they stumbled seems like an unrealistic description of what just occurred. Okay, just play this. Do I just exile this? I'm just gonna exile their thing rather than worry about it. I think it's greedy to Zealot there. I don't know. I guess it's better against a sweeper. An anonymous cheerer. Anonymous cheer. That's interesting. I didn't realize that was a thing that existed on Twitch. Who paid for Smothering Storm? That was Admiral Vortex. I think it's a thing. There was an anonymous cheer badge in chat, so I think it's an actual Twitch thing. Smothering Storm will time you out while winning, and it is glorious. God bless. Sounds like a wonderful deck for the unranked queue. It's a hacker group giving you money. God bless. I'll take it. One land, please. Ding, ding, ding. So they're waiting on something like a guild summit or an expansion explosion to draw a bunch of cards here, or another big payoff. Yeah, I don't know. If the card in their hand's not very good. Okay, this lets them put the Colossus into play this turn. There. That is a very large goat. This means they can't attack because I'll get to block with everything and they'll die. Oh, that's a good one, yeah. That's a good one, yeah. No, the Midnight Reaper can block. Well, I guess they kind of can. The Midnight Reaper blocks the Titan. Yeah, they need an Angel real bad. For sure. Are we doing it? I think we're doing it. They might have been dead to a full swing, but that's way less sweet. That's way less sweet. The Vindictive Vampires have actually been really impressive. This is, I kept a 5-lander earlier, but it had 2 2-drops in it, and I think 3 mana spells are just too slow. You can always find full deck lists for anything I post on Twitter on both my YouTube channel when I'm done playing for the day, as well as my Stream Decker page as I'm playing them throughout the day. If you are manually constructing deck lists from pictures you find on Twitter, I'd encourage you to find a more efficient use of your time. Yeah, definitely. I had low expectations going in, and it's definitely performed to a reasonable degree. Am I expecting standard bans on March 11th? Not expecting them, but I wouldn't complain if they happened. This is punishment for not playing the Reaper out last turn. So maybe I really wanted to have Priest active this turn, but maybe I'm supposed to just play the Reaper out. Generally speaking, most web browsers have a bookmark feature to save URLs that you care about. Yeah, the Afterlife 2 here is nothing to scoff at, that's for sure. Yeah, maybe I should have sacked at end of turn. Let's me attack for 2 with the spirits, have another activation ready. Hey, a Ginger Wookie. Thanks for the 2 and 3 sub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, super punished for my sequencing on that turn 3 when I played the Priest and not the Midnight Reaper. Would love to have had a Midnight Reaper in play for the sacrificings. Yeah, but I sacrificed non-tokens before. So, like, the tokens came from non-tokens. So I'm aware of what Midnight Reaper's text box is. Maybe I'm supposed to sack that and this there. Very possible. I kind of wanted to save this extra body to sack to kill this Hydra, though. I don't know that we're going to be able to play through this flood. A couple too many lands. No threat like Gutter Bones feels pretty bad. Way to consistently bring something back. The opponent's also drawing their fair share of lands. It's just their deck is better at leveraging extra lands because their deck's better at leveraging extra lands because they have Hydroid Crisis. So, like, the Hydroid Crisis is generally favored in top deck situations like this. I don't think this build has quite enough things to flip Legion's Landing. I think I'd Gutter Bones before I'd Legion's Landing in this deck. I don't think I sack end of turn. I don't think I want to lose Teysa. I think I can just hang out for the time being. Like, if I find any other creature with Teysa in play, like, I'm in a pretty good spot. Yeah, I probably should just be attacking with Teysa as well. I agree with that. We are a fine finality away from being in trouble, though. Hydroid Crisis also not good for us. Yup. Think I could fit anything else in here with my foot? That's true. They could have used Find on Crisis there, which was Find on Crisis better for them? I guess they were dead on board. Need one more draw step here. That was not the fade we're looking for. No! Stop looking at your graveyard. No! Stop it. No! Oh no! This is my favorite part of the game, where like the game looks kinda close until your opponent draws Hydrate Graces, and then just like put you in a little box and stuff you in the ground. It's like, well, there was an attempt. There was an attempt. Their deck is much better at flooding than ours is. Agree with that. Plaguecrafter's kind of mediocre here. I'm going to board in Bloodfast and a couple of these Tithe Takers just as extra filler. Yeah, we had a window there where Teysa would have let us take over the game had we drawn another creature with her. We just missed, unfortunately. Yeah, post-board, a lot of these Sultai decks have access to Cry, which is terrifying. One of the things that's awkward in this deck is that because there's no 1-drops in this deck actually can't activate Priest on 3 ever, which feels really bad. No, we don't play best of 1 on this channel. This deck leverage fine out of the sideboard and maybe splash the back half. Now, I don't really think you need those cards, Chef Seth. I'd encourage you to watch some of the other videos of us playing this archetype if you think we need cards like that. So, the more aggressive build that has a bunch of 1-drops in it, like Gutter Bones to grind with, is super reasonable. It gives you a lot of good grindy elements. Yeah, there's no cheap threats, which feels like it's a bit of a miss. That trade is interesting. I wonder if that means that they have a Cry here. The cast out on my Priest last turn made it feel like they didn't have Cry, but maybe they drew it.
Beasts are much more reliable than humans.
That's at 6. Basically infinite.
I'm a survivor. You can't stop nature.
I've actually been pretty unimpressed with Judith being an addition to these archetypes. So like, even just look at this list as an example. Think about how many 3 and 4 mana cards exist. How many 3 and 4 mana cards exist in just black and white that you're interested in playing. And then like, think about what Judith is really doing for the archetype, and I think Judith just doesn't do enough to be worth splashing. This deck, this archetype, in my experience, when it's good, it's good not because it's an aggressive deck, but it's good because it's kind of this grindy mid-range deck. And I think Judith kind of pulls you in a direction that's like not what your deck is interested in doing. I've done some stuff with Tolarian in the past. It's been a hot minute, but I have done some stuff with them. Yeah, the new mulligan system sounds great. I think anything to reduce variance Magic the Gathering has sounds wonderful. Alright. We're gonna play another match or two with this build here. I'm gonna try one more maybe. I do feel like the assessment of like we're just playing a little bit too low average card quality things in here is probably, that gut instinct is probably correct compared to the more trim, lower to the ground Aristocrats build that's on my website. Yeah, and like, so like Ajani's another good card, and like one of the reasons why a lot of the other Aristocrats decks, like the Vampire that deals damage when creatures die, has been good, but I think it's worse than a lot of the other 4-mana payoffs just end up being, is the issue. And like, again, between Midnight Reaper and Seraph and Ajani, there's just so many good 3 and 4 mana payoffs in this archetype that you just can't play all of you can't play all of them, and you have to pick and choose and eventually weed out the ones that are better than the others. I also think the lack of 1-drops, meaning you can never activate Priest until turn 4, is a big miss. Like, being able to start hammering people with Priest on turn 3 has been very important in the other build that we've played. Yeah, my preferred build is found on my website. Just click standard decks, one of the many ones up there. Well, we drew a spell, but against Hinterland Harbor Forest, Cast Down probably doesn't have text. Oh, sweet. They are playing creatures. God bless. We've not tried it with Dovin, actually, Burgle. That's a really interesting idea, because, like, Dovin's always super impressive in shells that have... Dovin's always been impressive in shells with aggressive creatures. I kind of like that idea. Huh. There's Sultai with bad mana. Okay. They left Vraska's Contempt on top. Would really like to draw any creature in our deck here, so that way next turn I can use Priest without sacrificing the Midnight Reaper. If I draw another brick, I'm probably going to sack the Midnight Reaper. But ideally we're going to draw a creature here. It's pretty frustrating. Okay, these are excellent hits. Awesome, that is fantastical. Finality me, baby. The final countdown. Do-do-do-do. Be-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Be-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Alright, I might have to go watch the intro to the TCC video, because like several people have brought it up at this point. We might have to pull. I don't think he would mind if I pull up one of his videos on stream. Alright, Ministrant. These are the games where this archetype just doesn't feel fair. Like just like, all right, hold on, let me give me a second, let me draw 5. Yikes! All right, well, I'm glad we drew 5. And these Midnight Reapers are gonna help us wade through the flood here. I'm drowning, chat. I'm drowning.
The wild wasn't meant to be contained. Sometimes restoration means
retribution. Ooh. Are they dead? Are they dead? I think they're dead. Each of these deal 4 when they activate, right? Yeah, they're dead. All right, that was hot. It was hot. So, like, that game was a good example of the kind of grindy elements you can have when everything's going right in a deck like this. The problem is that when you don't have your priest active and you don't have all your Midnight Reapers, what is your deck actually doing? And I think this build is too all in on the I want to maximize what priest is doing, and the rest of my cards are kind of mediocre outside of that is the issue. In Bellic, the NRG tournament, I went 6-2 at the NRG tournament, which was good for top 32.
My newest friend.
Yeah, I agree, Burgle. I do actually really like the idea of... what's it called? Dovin that you talked about. That does seem sweet. Turn 3 Vivian's pretty good on the play. So, moving forward, because I am attempting to be in the top 1,000 at the end of the month, unless a deck that we are playing, unless I feel very confident about a deck that we are playing being reasonable or a tiered deck, we are going to be playing unranked with them for viewers to submit a deck list, so I'm not hammering my rank learning about decks being clunky. I'm supposed to play Teysa there. The Vivian's just gonna ult here and we're dead, right? How did Try Hard Tuesday go? Terrible. Try Hard Tuesday went really poorly. We played at like a C- game. My gameplay was like a C- and we hit bad beats on top of that. So if you're gonna play poorly, you need to be lucky. Yeah, I agree, Gilbob. Like that game was a good example of we didn't have all of our engine pieces, but we had spells and just like nothing really happened because the deck just has so many 3 and 4 mana pieces in it, as opposed to the more efficient builds like on my website. That's true. I did get into Mythic yesterday after I ended early being a little bit tilted with medium variance and bad play. I 10-0'd my way into Mythic with a teamer deck. Yikes. Mick Lamb, thank you for the 10 months of Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Which deck? A new deck, actually, that we haven't played on stream before. It was a Teamer Domri deck. We didn't play the Teamer Domri deck today. The deck queue is long and full of terrors. It's hard to carve time out to play other things. Otherwise, I just get buried by backlog. No, I 10-0'd in best of 3 matches, so I lost games in there almost certainly. I won 10 matches in a row. That one's actually not on my website because I haven't played with it on stream. So I'm actually going to trade off a couple of these. I'm going to trade off one of these so that way I can pressure Vivian with the token a little bit. No, believe it or not, occasionally I play Magic while not streaming. It's weird, I know. While not recording. There's occasionally I play Arena with OBS off. It's weird.
I've seen things.
It's strange for me too, I promise. The deck list is on my Twitter if you want to copy a deck list that I think might be good. I mean, that would be a good draw if they didn't have Contempt lined up.
Scars are lessons written in skin.
Are you excited for the new / last season of Game of Thrones? Yeah, so I don't like watching shows week to week and waiting for new episodes to come out. So my wife and I actually didn't watch the second to last season of Game of Thrones, and we're waiting for this final season to wrap up, and then we'll probably just watch the whole series through from the start. Why play Priest into Contempt with Zealot available? Because they're going to Contempt something, so I might as well use my mana that turn. Now they're not Contempting Midnight Reaper.
I'm not losing everything again.
And if I can curve Midnight Reaper into Seraph into Teysa, maybe we can get back into this game. But it's gonna be kind of hard to dig ourselves out from under this Vivian. No, I definitely don't narrate my plays while I'm off stream. This is, believe it or not, I make a conscious effort to make engaging content. This isn't something that just like falls out of my mouth. Put forth some effort. Alright, I guess this lets me pressure this next turn, which is dice.
So it's going to be like that, huh? No one knows the wilds like I do.
Should have put those lands from last game into your savings, right? That darn cumulative variance catching up with us. No, I don't play best of one. The reason why I don't play best of one on stream is because I don't enjoy playing Magic that way. I don't secretly play best of one off stream. Magic's got enough variance in it to, like, not want to play best of 3. Good golly, where are my lands? I guess this is a good draw here still. Stop being lazy. The sideboard's not missing on Twitter. If you literally scroll down, there's a linked tweet with, hey, here's the deck list for easy importing. What's my favorite saying? You'll drown a horse in water trying to make it drink. It's like trying to teach Twitch chat things. It's funny, as someone who goes out of their way to make lots of information accessible to people, like, it almost makes sense to me why other content creators don't bother making information available, because people just don't look for it. You still get 1,000 questions about why where is this? I think we're dead. I think that's the board state. Yeah. Which, we died to Sultai twice with this build, which makes me think it's probably too clunky. The other more trim build of Aristocrats, just to wrap up. So, let's look at this again really quick, and look at how many 3s and 4s there are, in addition to how many 2s. Now, this is the Black-White Aristocrats build I've been working on. Look at how the curve is different, right? Like, there's the only 3s here outside of removal are Midnight Reaper. We have 8 1-drops. There's only 6 4-drops. I'm actually going to test a couple of Lyras next time we play this, maybe, because I do think this card's really sweet against aggro. And just, like, good curve in general. But, like, just compare how the curve in this deck looks compared to the curve in the other deck that we just played that felt a little bit clunky on average. And this build's a lot more efficient, and not only do the 1-drops make you curve out better, but again, being able to activate Priest of the Forgotten Gods on turn 3 is a really big deal. Yeah, we also have a couple more sack outlets in this build with a couple of Pitiless Pontiffs.